Keeping you informed. This is In.form on WBDC and 18 WJTS.
Hello and welcome to another edition of In.form right here on 101 Country WBDC and 18 WJTS. I'm Kaitlyn Neukam, and today we are joined once again by the wonderful crew of Crisis Connection. They do a lot of different things in the community and whatnot, but we have Leanne Burke and Davina Curtis with us this morning. Hello, ladies. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. It is Thursday, so we're past Hump Day, which is fantastic. We've got more of a sensitive topic to talk about today, but nonetheless even just as important. So this month is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, the month of October. In Crisis Connection, you guys have a major campaign that you guys are doing to raise awareness not only for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but for Bullying Prevention Month, and all of the things that kind of culminate in that space. Because again, it is things that we don't want to talk about, but things we definitely do need to talk about. So, Leanne, will you, before we get into the nitty-gritty, and I'll ask Davina to respond with this as well, but Leanne, if you want to go first, you are the Pike County Victim Advocate for Crisis Connection. So, what does that mean? What do you do on a daily basis? What does that consist of for you at Crisis Connection?
Yeah, so at Crisis Connection, we have 6 victim advocates that cover 7 counties. 3 of those counties we overlap with another agency, so we're not as active in those. But in our 4 main counties, DuBois, Pike, Spencer, and Perry, they each have their own dedicated advocate. And so what that means is when we have clients coming to us from those counties, we're the main ones working with them. We're also the main ones out in that county kind of building relationships with, law enforcement, medical providers, the Department of Child Services, other community organizations, really anybody who can kind of point people in our direction when they need it. Because it really, preventing domestic violence, responding to domestic violence, all of that is really a community effort. And so, yes, we're the ones that, work directly with survivors to get them kind of that specialized domestic violence help. But without those other agencies and people also kind of coming around to support the survivor, they can't get out of the situation. They're not going to really feel the empowerment in the way that we need them to or that, we want them to as well, to really, get out and maybe stay out or, if they can't get out, at least figure out how to be safer in that situation.
Right. And again, because Crisis Connection deals with a lot of different things, we are specifically talking about domestic violence awareness and whatnot for this month, but Crisis Connection deals with a bunch of other personal matters, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So most of the time with the victim advocates, we're dealing with the domestic violence or the sexual violence. On our prevention side, they do the sexual abuse prevention with education in the schools. Here we go. And they also do bullying prevention. And so with October, they overlap a little bit with Bullying Prevention Month and Domestic Violence Awareness Month, both being October. We also deal with human trafficking a little bit as well when that comes up in our area. So that month is January, and then Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Prevention Month are both April.
So unfortunately, if you think about it, you guys are staying busy with all of these issues. But again, if you don't bring light to them, it is hard to help those who need the help with it. Davina, you are the Spencer County Victim Advocate. So what does that kind of look like for you on a daily basis?
Well, I do a lot of the same things that Leanne mentioned. There's a lot of community involvement, community meetings, trying to get our name out there. I would just like to add, people think of Crisis Connection, we're in Jasper, but we do travel a lot, and we will travel to your area, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Right, and you guys cover Crawford, DuBois, Martin, Orange, Perry, Pike, and Spencer counties here in southern Indiana. So a very broad range of coverage areas so that people can reach out and ask for help. And a lot of this is confidential. A lot of it is, again, to help someone who's in a tough situation. So again, Crisis Connection does fantastic work, but it is I want to say dirty work because you guys are dealing with all those things behind the scenes. So Domestic Violence Awareness Month, you guys, again, along with your Bullying Prevention Month campaign, you've been kind of spreading awareness and making a statement here, at least in Jasper. So, like, what have you guys been performing per se for your campaigns this month? Because I've seen some social media things and whatnot, but what's the kind of push this month, Leanne?
So there's a lot of different like tactics and things that bullies and perpetrators of domestic violence use. And in past years, we've talked about a lot of the different ones. This year, we're really focusing on technology and how that can be used as a means of power and control over people. Just because, one, we're seeing a lot of that in our cases, and two, it's something we haven't hit on a whole lot. It's also something that, the research is developing on. I mean, there's new technology all the time, and there's new means and tools that they can use all the time, too. So that's kind of a part of it, like constantly evolving as technology is. And so we kind of now feel like we have a pretty good handle on what the main things that get used are. And so we feel like we're in a place now where we can talk about that.
Yeah. So, Davina, will you kind of segue us into, what does that mean on a technology standpoint? What are you guys seeing so far as, I want to say, human habits? Like, what kind of, how are abusers using technology to take control or be dominant over partners who are suffering as victims?
Well, we are seeing abusers use Life 360s, Snapchat maps to locate their victims, keep eyes on them, where they're going, where they're at. We're using the Apple tags. They're using those, hiding them in vehicles, or there's even like little GPS monitors that they can put in the cars to monitor them. They are putting apps on the phone so they can see who they're texting, calling, what they're looking up. Am I missing anything, Leanne?
Another thing I actually just ran into is when you have like a shared social media accounts. I know that's kind of popular among like partners, or if you let your partner know your passwords, the abusive partner will get in there and start to mess about with things that can be hard to undo as well.
Right. So, of course, we want to try our best to prevent domestic violence in everything we do. It does not matter who the victim is. If you are seeing signs of someone being abused, or maybe you yourself are being abused, are there any steps or any actions that people can take that we need to know about? I mean, I open this up to either of you because I can only imagine X amount of answers, but you guys, again, unfortunately see this every single day. So what would you suggest to those who might be in that situation?
If you're in that situation, we just want you to know that you're not alone and help is available when you're ready to seek it and when it's safe to seek it. With technology abuse, if you suspect that, your partner has a program on your phone that's going to kind of give them a copy of everything you do, it's probably not safe to call us or text, our Facebook page or something like that. So you want to think through that stuff. There are times where it's just not going to be safe for you to get a hold of us. But if you have like a friend or family member, maybe that it looks more benign to talk to, you can do that, or talking to them in person, again, in ways that are safe for you to do that. And then they can call us and get some, more tips and things on how to, maybe get that program off your phone or change your passwords, whatever you really need to do. We've gotten new phones for clients before when they think they're being tracked and we just can't find, anything, but that doesn't mean there's nothing there. That just means like we're not tech savvy enough to find it. There's so many different things that perpetrators can use, and there's new stuff all the time. Like every time I'm in a technology related training, I feel like there's something new, and I'm like, I have no idea how that works, but I'm glad I know it exists. Like I'm not a tech savvy person at all. So like if you suspect that and we can't find anything, or if we do find something and we don't know how to get it off, we're just gonna go get you a new like throwaway phone from Walmart. So you've got something there that's safe. Assuming that the survivor thinks that's safe. Everything we do is survivor-led. They know their situation best. They know their, partner, their perpetrator best. They know what's going to be safest for them. There's really no safe thing to do in these situations. It's just what is safer and what risk is the survivor willing to take, both for themselves, but if they have kids, for their kids too.
Right. And we are talking on scary topics, not because it is spooky season, but because these are real life things that people deal with on a daily basis. it is scary to reach out for help. It can be very hard to get out from under that place of control from another person. I will say crisisconnectioninc.org. You guys have a lot of different resources on your website, even contact information, but also you guys in the top right-hand corner, you have a quick escape tab because there are so many of these instances where people are looking for that information, but they might need that quick escape to actually, not lead on the perpetrator, etc. Which I hate that we're talking about all this, but it is daily occurrences. Davina, do you have any recommendations for someone who might want to reach out to a coworker at work, like person to person, or maybe there's a kid that's noticing that there's something like this happening at home and they reach out to a trusted adult? Have you seen anything like that where it's someone outside of the family that kind of reaches out for help for these people?
I see it quite often. They give us a call just asking, what resources we have, what we can do for the victim, and they like to pass on the information. And, we always encourage, the victim to call, but they will pass on the information and the victim will call, and hopefully we meet up and get them in a safe place.
Mm-hmm. Is the person, will just hypotheticalizing, if a person reports a situation like this to you guys, are they getting in trouble for it? I mean, I hate that it seems so elementary to kind of say it that way, but if a child goes and tells someone about this situation, they're not going to get in trouble for speaking up and at least showing interest in it, right?
I mean, the state of Indiana, it depends if they go to a teacher or something. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but they are mandated reporters. So depending on the situation and what is just talked about, there might be a DCS report, but them giving information about what we can provide, and they can provide or pass it on to that family member, the parent.
Right. And it is something where some people they don't want to be the catalyst for change, but they also don't want to stay silent because they see this happening. It is a tough thing to even initiate. So just knowing that there are resources out there and speaking up for those who need the voice is super important. So, Leanne, again, you guys are doing a lot of different stuff this month, and it is to, of course, make sure people know about the resources and information. And with that, what kind of resources, information that is there that you'd like to pass on that people maybe take with them through the rest of their day-to-day?
Yeah. So I think the first thing we want to hit on is our services are all confidential. So like every adult in the state, we are mandatory reporters of child abuse and neglect. So, I mean, if we have clients that come in and disclose that is happening, typically we'll have a conversation with them and say, hey, this law exists, that is reportable, and we encourage them to make the call with us. So that's something we're never going to just leave you alone to kind of, struggle through your situation. But, there are laws that we have to work within. But beyond that, all of our services are completely confidential. So, we're not going to be telling anyone without your written permission what is happening. So that's a main kind of cornerstone to our services. And our confidentiality is very strict compared to pretty much any other agency that they're going to interact with, according to federal and state laws. So that's something we really want to make sure everybody knows, that, when you come to us for help, your business is not getting spread anywhere. Some other things that we're doing, we've painted the windows around Jasper Square. We are doing a pretty major social media campaign. That's probably our main way of getting information out right now. We have displays in most of the libraries, I think, at least in our 4 main counties. I think we've got at least one display there in all of them. I should know where they all are because I posted pictures of them all, but of course I don't remember. So we've got that with information there as well. We did do a pumpkin painting contest that kind of wrapped up this week. And then we're doing a lot of just kind of getting out there and doing these kind of interviews and stuff like that just to bring awareness. But really it's something that we need to be doing kind of ongoing. If we just get out when we have these awareness months, that's not going to really cut it. So this is kind of work that continues even after these awareness months are over, of making those connections with community organizations, helping, educate the communities and stuff too on best practices. All of the social service agencies and things that we interact with, they all get trainings on this. but then there's new research that comes out, and there's new like best practices that come out. And so part of our job is making sure that that's out there too. So that's more of what we do as well.
Right. And I mean, you brought up a fantastic point of, although we love to have you on your press junket in the studio and whatnot, but you guys do the majority of your work behind the scenes, and that's the whole point. And again, just inviting people to know that they're not alone and they can seek out help, because you guys are humans like everybody else. You just want to be able to help and support these people during these challenging times. Davina, if anyone wants more information or maybe wants to stop by and see you guys or set up some type of connection, how best can they do that for those who just need to be a little more connected with Crisis Connection?
Well, they can call our office, and then we do have a 24-hour hotline. We have an advocate on call 24 hours. 2 o'clock in the morning, you want to talk, there's someone available. You're in crisis, 2 o'clock in the morning, give us a call. We are located here in Jasper, 919 East 14th Street. Also, we will come to you. Some of our victims or clients that we work with don't have transportation, so that's a worry for them. But we will come to their town and meet with them and discuss how we can help them.
Right. Yeah. Ladies, is there anything else you want to make sure to mention? Because, again, I know you guys are super busy with your big October campaigns. You guys have been doing a fantastic job just spreading awareness and, honestly, just sharing your friendly faces online so that people know who's behind the scenes doing all this fantastic work. So we want to make sure to give you your time to share what all Crisis Connection does. But is there anything else you want to make sure to mention?
I think I just want to expand on what she said a little bit about us coming to you. So we do have an office in Pike County in Petersburg. We have an office in Troy in Perry County. There it is. And then for Spencer and our outer lying counties, we tend to use libraries a lot. So that's one of those community partners that we use. They have a lot of libraries have these really nice study rooms where you close the door and it's very private. So that's what we use a lot in some of our other counties. We've also met with people in the courthouse if they're comfortable with that. We can meet with them in the DCS office if they're already there. We want it to be as easy for them as possible. The only thing is we can't come to your house, but if you can, walk to your library, or if you can walk to, another community space, we can meet with you there.
Fantastic. It is just wonderful to know that you guys are willing to be flexible and work with these people when they need the help. Again, crisisconnectioninc.org is a great place to start. You can call, you can get resources there and whatnot. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month with Crisis Connection Inc. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming in and giving us the rundown on, again, it is a sad topic to talk about, but having awareness and knowing what steps to take around that are super important. So we appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, and thank you for listening and watching here on 101 Country WBDC and 18 WJTS on your In.form program with Crisis Connection, Inc.
This has been In.form on WBDC and 18 WJTS. Catch past episodes on our social media pages and our websites. If it matters to you, it matters to us. In.form.